Welcome everyone to more Reddit stories. Today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents, including one where an entitled dad decides to park in an emergency lane to take a phone call, blocking fire trucks on their way to a fire. But the firemen don't have any time to waste, and the entitled dad gets some sweet karmic justice, among other hilarious stories. So let's jump in, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. You have to have my item. It's Christmas. I was messaged and asked to post this here, so here it is. I had gone out to see my psychologist on Monday and had a great session. On my way back home, I decided to wander the CBD for a bit. I find it fun. We have virtually zero risk of the virus here, so I can be safe while doing it too. I was wandering through the store we will call Bullseye that employs people with red shirts and was coming up near the register when I heard the sound of a feminine voice starting to rise. Me and the noisy biatch I am, I hung around to listen to the drama. This story includes Karen, poor worker, manager, and security guard. Karen: but you have to have it in stock. Your website says that you do. Poor worker: the website isn't accurate. It's better to call the store. But I need the item. Where else can I get it? You could probably get it at another store. I don't want to go to another store. The manager hears this and walks over. Manager: hi, can I help you? Karen turns to manager. I need the item, but she says you don't have it in stock. Gestures at the poor worker. Unfortunately, it's a very popular item and we sold out quite quickly. Well, where else can I get one? You might be able to find one at another store. I won't go to another store. I want it at this store. We could order it in for you. How long will that take? Right now, about 2 weeks. That's not going to work. I need this effing item for my kids for Christmas. Please keep your voice down to reasonable levels. F you, I'll yell if I want to. You're being stupid. The security guard was already en route, but hurried over with this. Security guard: I'm rescinding your right to shop here. Please leave the store. No, I want my item. Leave now. Karen goes quiet for a moment and then spins on her heel and storms away quickly. Karen looking back: I'm going to call corporate. I know a high-up manager there. I swear to God, Al. Bang. Karen didn't even see that the door was slow opening and promptly walked into it. Multiple people started to laugh at this point, including the security guard. Poor worker was hiding her face. Manager was going through a titanic struggle to keep composure. Karen made the decision then to turn around and start swearing at the people who were laughing. Shut up, all of you. I'm going to sue this store. You're all going to be jobless by Christmas Day. She turns to walk out the door, not realizing that by this point she was behind the sensor range and walked into the closed door. She lets out a scream of rage and starts pounding on the door. No one could hold back this time. Seeing someone storm into a closed door twice in a row was beyond hilarious. Everyone who was watching was howling with laughter. Open, you effing C-word, open. The security guard walks forward and waves to the sensor, making the door open. Karen lets out another scream and storms out. This guy comments, it's a Christmas miracle. It is indeed a Christmas miracle. To be able to see something like that is a gift like nothing else. You're grounded for having depression. My mother is a terrible human being. She has always been abusive to me, and I want to have a decent relationship with her, but it's extremely difficult because of her behavior. Growing up, I got bullied a lot for being a bit weird, a trait I now pride myself on. Long story short, this and a multitude of other factors ended up having me diagnosed with depression in high school. My mother's solution to fix this would be to punish me in a variety of ways. One of the most common was with hard labor. We had a wood-burning stove and would stock up on wood to last the winter. If I wasn't smiling, she usually would force me to go to our basement to cut a pile of wood. A lot of the time, I'd get sent to my room for not being happy, usually without meals. She commonly banned me from playing video games because I was acting depressed. One time during a family trip to the zoo in the city my grandparents live in, they threatened to go home without visiting my grandparents unless I put on a smile. My grandparents were everything to me. They were easily the only ones who bothered to make me feel cared for. So this was one of the worst punishments imaginable. This This happened constantly throughout my time living with her, amongst many other things. She would especially do this when she was in public, as she didn't want my poor mental health to tarnish her image in the community. That sounds like a terrible parent. That's the kind of parent that'll treat their kids terribly growing up, but never will actually admit it. And then their kids grow up with all kinds of problems, and they're like, oh, I don't know what went wrong. I did everything for my babies. It's like, no, you didn't. You were terrible. Stop at an emergency lane during a fire? Get karma. So 2 years ago, before the Rona was a thing, me and my family used to go to my mom's village every summer. But there was a long, and I mean long, highway we had to travel on for about 2.5 hours out of the foul 4-hour journey. And of course, there is in the right of the road an emergency lane, and for obvious reasons, it's illegal to stop or drive there unless there is an emergency. Now, unfortunately, some people don't seem to understand the traffic difference between having to arrive somewhere 15 minutes earlier and an ambulance rushing to keep someone alive. And that's why it's not uncommon to see cars driving in the emergency lane as if it's a normal thing to do. But what you are about to read is beyond insanity. Let's get started. Me and my family are traveling to my mom's village in a hot summer day, and because it was hot, it was an opportunity for a road reconstruction. That being said, half the road was closed, causing insane traffic. But is everyone going to go slow? Well, yes, except this guy I'll call G. G was right in front of us and suddenly turned right to the emergency lane and stopped. Maybe his car broke down, I thought, but I was wrong. Because he got out of his car, called someone, and started having a proper conversation while his car was blocking the emergency lane. In a day with so much traffic, you'd switch off your engine while waiting to move forward. My dad was about to get out of the car and start yelling at G, but the moment he was about to open the door, 3 heavily equipped with giant wheels, steel bumpers, and armored headlights, Firetrucks stopped behind G's car. Turns out there was an actual effing fire, and G was blocking the way to talk on his phone. The fire trucks lose no time and start honking on G to move out of the way, but nothing. G gave them the finger and continued on with his call, but the fire truck driver behind him lost his temper. He backed off a little bit, switched to first gear again, and guess what? He runs over G's car, completely wrecking it, and then he continued driving since he had a fire to put out. G, now in shock, was cursing and yelling at the top of his lungs while the second firefighter truck did the same, running over G's now destroyed car, wrecking it even more and continuing as if nothing happened. At this point, G is silent, in shock, as the third fire truck driver gets out, hooks G's car to his fire truck, pulls it out of the lane, clearing the way, and moves on as well. G was mad, to say the least. At this point, he fell down, being way too shaken. Sometime later, we had to move away from him and the leftovers of his car. We saw in the distance a tow truck arriving and stopping beside G. After the driver had a little talk with G, he actually left without picking up the car. I assume that G told him why his car was run over and pissed off the tow truck driver to the point where he declined to help him. Wow, what a day I had. Anyway, thanks for reading. Oh, and by the way, the reason I know for a fact that this dude was a dad is because inside the car there was one of these kids' seats. This dude totally deserved that. When your selfishness and entitlement extends so far that you're gonna be blocking emergency services from being able to get through a busy street, no one should bother wasting their time with this guy when they have lives to go save. He's lucky he didn't get arrested for obstructing these people. Entitled mom confronts me for having the audacity to buy our house when her son wanted it. Brief backstory, back in March, I'm a 25-year-old female and my partner, 27-year-old male, bought a house. Big deal for us. We're so glad we managed to pull this off, especially right before the pandemic got bad. It's a livable fixer-upper. The lady that lived here bought it in '67 and was the only owner before us, and she made no updates in that time. It keeps us busy, and that's worked out really well being home so often. Now to the event with Entitled Mom. In May, my big project was pulling out some nasty bushes that had taken over a huge chunk of the front side yard. It was hot, I was sweaty, I'm digging out roots and throwing branches. As I'm right up front and making a pretty drastic change to the yard, people notice. Most neighbors stop by, say a quick hello from the car, and drive away. But not Entitled Mom. Entitled Mom pulls up in a shiny black Suburban from the opposite side of the road, parks the wrong way, and rolls down her window. I'd say she's in her 50s or 60s. Gray-white bob cut hair. I stand up and pause my music. The following conversation isn't exact, but pretty close, as this conversation was just so entitled. Hey, did you buy this house? Yep, just moved in last month. Did you know the family? That sold it? Not really, we just got lucky. They chose us, I guess. I'm trying to be nice, but kind of off-put since she's asked none of the typical neighbor questions. We made a great offer. Yeah, my son really wanted this house. He grew up in this neighborhood, you know. Oh darn, yeah, houses move fast right now. He spent his whole life in this area. He really deserved to stay in the neighborhood, you know. Yeah, that's too bad. Major WTF feelings right now. How much did you offer? Me not about to tell her details. Over asking price, we were proactive. Well, my son really wanted that house. Me feeling quite awkward with this whole situation and just looking to shoo this lady along. Yeah, well, I'm sure more houses will go up for sale around here. Well, that doesn't help him now, does it? He had his heart set on that house. I just exaggeratedly shrug and decide to resume my root cutting to try and give her the message. You're probably flipping it. He would have loved it. No, we're not. We're staying long term. Yeah, right. She doesn't leave. I'm wondering if I should go inside or something. She just keeps looking at me, expecting me to say something. I keep cutting at her root. Is it just you, or did your family help you get it? Me getting pretty short in tone. My partner and I bought it together. My grandkids would have loved the yard. A loved yard makes a house a home, you know. Me not looking up. Well, my dogs will love it, especially once I'm done. Seriously? I just scoff, pull my root out, throw it on the pile. I feel her eyes watching me. Me really ready to be done. Well, have a good day. Then when a last glare and an she speeds off, leaving a quite annoyed and bewildered me in my dirty glory, mulling over what the heck just happened. Did this freaking lady just try to guilt trip me because we bought a house her son wanted? Indeed, apparently. What the heck? Definitely the most unwelcoming interaction I have had since we've moved in, and I have not yet seen her since. Maybe she's disabled. A fast food Karen. Hey guys, I got a short story today. It happened just 2 hours ago. I was buying some dinner at a local fast food restaurant, Jollibee, and was standing in line. The counter next to our line is reserved and marked priority for senior citizens, pregnant women, and people with disabilities. I was simply waiting in my line when I hear the guard. The conversation goes like this. There was a woman standing in the line with a kid no more than 5. She was third in line with 2 senior citizens behind her. The guard approaches. Excuse me, ma'am, there are senior citizens behind you. Please give way and let them go first. What? The line is prioritized for senior citizens. Please give way to them. No way. I was here first, so don't tell me to move. But ma'am, Karen cuts off guard. Don't tell me what to do. I was first. Guard looks defeated and starts to back up. Me being a regular, I say to the guard, maybe she's a person with disabilities, you never know. Karen hears this and says, I am not a person with... She realizes her mistake. She takes her son and they go out of line. The guard and I just exchange looks and shrug it off. Karen went to the KFC across where there was no line. Don't stand in the disability line if you're just gonna get pissed off when people assume you have a disability. Entitled mother doesn't check that the movie isn't for kids and blames the employees. This is a short story, just saying. About a few years back, me and a few friends went to the movie theater to watch this movie called Kubo and the Two Strings. It may sound childish, and because it was animated, a lot of people thought it was for kids. Fun fact, people, animated doesn't mean child-friendly. It was also made by this company called Laika, the same that made Caroline, so they are gonna have some scary themes. Anyways, onto the story. Me and my friends are waiting behind a person who is holding a 4 to 6 year old boy. The conversation goes like this. The poor employee says, "Oh, sorry, ma'am, but this movie might be scary for your kid. I know it looks innocent, but it has some horror scenes." Entitled mom, "Is this a joke?" What do you mean? "I am not an idiot. This is animated. It's for kids. Now just give me my ticket already." I say, "He might be right, ma'am. Animated movies can be scary." "Excuse me, who do you think you are? I am an adult, and there is no way you know any better than me. You kids these days have no respect whatsoever." Me stays quiet. We get our popcorn and sit down in our seats. The movie starts. So far, nothing much, except for a little bloody eye in the beginning that you can't see that much. Then the first quite scary scene comes up. We hear a child scream, and almost everybody looks behind. He gave me the wrong ticket. Entitled mom storms out and starts yelling at a random employee. Some people get up, including me, to see what's happening. After like a minute of arguing with the employee, she and her kid, still crying, get escorted out by security. And that was r/Entitled Parents. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing for more Reddit stories. As always, thanks for watching, peace and love, and I'll catch you next time.